Hey, it's the Empire, Geoboxing Empire, Backstar Boxing. Now, man, the WBC, man, Suleiman Herrera, man, right? Man, I mean, this guy, he doesn't really know what he's doing when it comes to the WBC mandatory, man. 1 second that Dillian Whyte's mandatory, he got stopped, and now Dillian Whyte is trying to say, hey, man, I need you to reinstate me as a mandatory. Suleiman was talking about how it depends who wins the fight with Alexander Povetkin and Dillian Whyte to say who he's going to have as the mandatory spot, if he wants to initiate it or not. Now that Dillian Whyte has won, Suleiman has been extremely quiet on if he's going to reinstate Dillian Whyte as a mandatory fighter for the WBC. And that has caused Dillian Whyte to come sue the WBC for not reinstating him, because it was really wishy-washy. It was whatever they wanted. And, that being said, understand that, Suleiman, why he's from Mexico, right? He has a worldwide organization. You got people fighting for his title all around the world. And when you start playing favorites and you start being wishy-washy internationally, it's going to have consequences. That made Dillian Whyte take Suleiman to court, and Eddie Hearn says that Dillian Whyte is currently suing the WBC as we speak. So that being said, man, Suleiman has known to be a crooked sanctioning CEO, president of the WBC. He plays favorites for sure. He favors certain fighters, and they get boosted in rankings based on his feelings and not based on the rules of the WBC. So that being said, man, we can talk about Canelo Alvarez being franchised. We could talk about Lomachenko being franchised. We could talk about, fighters like Ryan Garcia, who had, the chance to be the Devin Haney's mandatory, and he decided to go another way. This really, is, he's pro-Mexican, which isn't wrong. But, when you have a sanctioning body, if you're going to be pro-Mexican, you might as well just only have a Mexican title, not a world title. It dilutes the sport of boxing, and it discredits the sport of boxing. So that being said, man, we're going to see how this whole thing plays out, man. But Sullivan, like I said earlier, has been known to be a biased CEO/president of the WBC, to say the least, right? Another example I can give you is, when Deontay Wilder lost to Tyson Fury, Sullivan was coming out talking about how we support Tyson Fury and how we stand behind our champion. We're proud of our champion. It's like really weird stuff. And he'll come weigh in on things he shouldn't be weighing in on, right? When Canelo tests positive for clenbuterol, he was saying that Canelo represents Mexico well, and he represents the country and the nation, and he would never test positive. And then he did. And he never retracted his statements, and he just kept it, he said what he said. So there's just a lot of inherent bias with Sullivan, right? He actually raised the clenbuterol levels for Canelo Alvarez, or it's like traces them out now. Now you can have a certain amount of clenbuterol in your system, and that was only when Canelo Alvarez tested positive for it. So I can go on and on talking about Sullivan and the WBC, but the fact of the matter is, Dillian Whyte wants his title next, right? He wants the winner of Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder. And, we all know Dillian Whyte has a problem with Deontay Wilder, but, one unspoken thing is, he wants Tyson Fury too. He talks about Tyson Fury. People only really harp on it when they talk about Deontay Wilder, because that's the fight they really want to see. Dillian Whyte versus Tyson Fury, Tyson Fury, very sporadic, very, you can't depend on him for fighting or not. The guy is extremely inactive. He just pulled out recently for COVID. I think he just wasn't ready for the fight with Deontay Wilder. He looks like he's trying to get in shape now, but Dillian Whyte trying to get a fight with Tyson Fury, that might be harder said than done, easier said than done. But it's good that he wants to fight for his position. I'm sort of shocked that Dillian Whyte hasn't been the mandatory for any of these other sanctioning bodies. I mean, who does he have to fight to become a mandatory for WBA, WBR, IBF? Who does he really have to fight? He already fought a former champion, former WBO champion, Joseph Parker, right? He already beat him. He already beat and knocked out former WBA regular champion Lucas Brown, right? I mean, I can go on and on Dillian Whyte's resume, right? But he's beaten so many elite level fighters. It's shocking that he hasn't even had a title shot yet. which is wild stuff, man. So, Dillian Whyte, he's definitely been taken advantage of. He's getting these big name fights, but he really needs a title shot, and he needs more than one. It's weird how you got guys like Dominic Brazil fighting for more than one title. You got people like Chris Arreola fighting for more than one title, and I can go on and on about a lot of fighters fighting for more than one title at the heavyweight division with a weaker resume than Dillian Whyte. But it's just shocking to me. It's shocking to me that he's not highly ranked in these other sanctioning bodies. I don't know what's going on with these rankings, and then it doesn't make any sense how they tally up these numbers for these elite level fighters. But anyway, man, let me know how you guys feel about it, though. Do you guys think that Dillian Whyte will successfully sue the WBC for that mandatory spot? Let me know how you guys feel about it, though. Like, comment, subscribe. It's the Empire. Geobox Empire. Peace.